What's goody? It's your host, Jay Rose, as always, and welcome back to the BagTalk podcast. I know it's always a month or two in between episodes these days, and I always say at the end I'm gonna make more, and I'm probably gonna do it again today. But hey, listen, it's gonna be a good pod today. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe. Stay all the way to the end. We got some good topics coming up. Let's get into it. First, what I wanted to get into was the Spurs versus Knicks game because that was a classic. We had two legendary performances, one out of Jalen Brunson, one out of Victor Wembanyama. I want to start off with JB, who had 61 points on 62% true shooting. And I'm just saying, JB was a flamethrower. I'm watching this dude shoot, and I'm like, first of all, I'm going to get into that later, but he was a flamethrower, bro. He's just tossing up three after three after three. Cash. He was not missing. Every jump shot that went up was falling down that night. I'm really not sure how the Knicks did not pull this one out. Like I said, Wembanyama had a legendary performance, but I feel like if the Knicks just had a little bit more offensive power, they absolutely would have pulled this one out. This is the third most impressive scoring performance to me this year. We obviously had two 70-point performances, so I'm going to put Luka 1 and Embiid 2, and then we're probably going to have JB 3 in front of Cat, because that's just how I'm feeling about this game. Like, JB really was going off. He came up big in the clutch moments as well, where I remember in Cat's game, he was trash in the fourth quarter, and they ended up losing by like quite a bit. They lost this game, but it was by what? 4 points in overtime? So, yeah. But now I want to talk about JB, how he played like me, bro. I was watching Jalen Brunson, and I was like, yo, me and Jalen Brunson really do have a similar playing style. Like the pull-up jumpers at the midi, the footwork, the speed control and the footwork, really like in the post, the up and unders, you see the middies, the first step is crazy, the way he uses jab steps, all that. It's just really like, I was like, yo, me and Jalen Brunson take very, very similar shots, and I just found that very interesting. Now we can talk about Wemby, because in my notes I wrote because like for real, Wemby might take over the NBA, for real. Like, I wasn't believing the hype fully when they was talking about, oh, this guy from overseas, he's mad nice. And listen, I thought he was gonna be nice, but I didn't know he was gonna be able to do something like this. He had 40 points, 20 rebounds, and 7 assists. That's 2K numbers. That's literally 2K numbers. That's insane. You know, I've seen crazier games, but this is a crazy game, especially out of a rookie. This is super crazy. This is one of them classic games. I feel like if Wembanyama's career does end up being a Hall of Fame or a GOAT type career, this is one of them games we're going to look back on like one of them rookie showcase type games, because what rookie's putting up 40 points, 20 rebounds, and 7 assists in a game? And Wemby was showing off everything. And this is the reason I say because, you know, he's 7'4", 7'5", whatever, right? His handle is actually like very tight. His handle is very, very good. I stopped watching the Spurs as much as they started to fall in standings. I'm like, they're not really relevant to the playoff picture. His progression from the beginning of the season to the end of the season in terms of his ball handling and his playmaking is crazy. For a first year, that's crazy. The game has clearly slowed down so much for him already in this span, and I think that's scary. You can see him literally dribbling the ball up the court, getting the board, dribbling all the way down the court, finding an open man. Dangerous. That is absolutely dangerous. The fact that he's moving up the court and that fast and his handle is tight. He didn't turn the ball over too much from what I saw. You guys can double check me on that. But just watching the game, it didn't look like Wembanyama was having a sloppy game. It looked like he was having a very controlled game. And I was like, wow. For him to be able to just have an automatic bucket whenever he wants to because he's that tall, and to be able to dribble like this, and for him to be able to shoot, because that was a big thing for me. When he played in France, he could not shoot. He literally could not shoot threes. His percentage was trash. I think it was like 20-something%. So I'm like, yo, we talking about Wembanyama and how he's going to do this, that, and the third. He got to shoot first. So let's see if he can shoot first. And he can shoot. Yeah, he can shoot. I saw him hit just regular catch and shoot jumpers. I seen him hit a step back 3. I seen him hit there's a step back 3 that didn't count, where he did like a whole size up into the step back and then it banked in. I was like, yo, I don't think he's supposed to be able to do this. That's just me though. I see some guy who's 7'5" and I'm like, yo, this is not natural. Like, Wemby is a freak of nature. So I'm just saying, I believe the hype now, because as long as he stays healthy, at the bare minimum, he is an all-time defensive player. He's arguably the defensive player of the year this year. I'm not sure why they favorite Rudy Gobert. Me personally, I think we should just throw away the fact that he's a rookie and let him have the DPOY, because it's very clear he's the defensive player of the year, even though the Spurs suck. But even his on-off numbers show that he's like so far, and like he's just crazy on defense this year. Crazy, especially for a rookie to be doing this is insane. I don't think we should rob him of that because he's a rookie. I feel like that's really the reason. Gobert has a reputation for doing this. Wemby just got here, so it's like we're not gonna let this dude just come over and take the award. That's what I feel like it is. But you know what I'm saying? I respect it. We pick Gobert, they pick Gobert. For the game, Spurs end up winning 130-126. What I noticed is that the Spurs got a lot of fouls and the Knicks did not, bro. There's a huge free throw discrepancy. The free throws really did make the difference in the game in a lot of areas. It was a super close game, obviously, not only with Wemby getting a decent amount of free throws, but obviously his teammates getting a lot of free throws too. So I thought there was a lot of times where Jalen Brunson most definitely blatantly got fouled and did not get a call. He kept it pushing, still got 61. So shout out JB, because that's just some perseverance right there. I feel like that's one guy who really does not react to the referees at all. I wish Luka had that. I really do, because that is such an important skill in today's NBA, not reacting to the refs and being able to play through that, get back on D, just get a stop, go get the ball back, go back into the next play. JB don't do too much bickering for real. Obviously, everybody complain here and there, but I'm not gonna lie, JB just be pushing through. He's really a bulldog, and like I love JB, man. He carried, absolutely carried. Like I said, the Knicks truly needed more offense. Julius Randle absolutely could have helped in this game. Their acquisitions of Bogdanovich and Burks, Bogdanovich did not play well today, and I think Burks is hurt. So there's just not a lot of offense. OG's out again, I believe, right? OG didn't play last night. I should double check that. But I believe OG be getting hurt like left and right. I think Mitchell Robinson came back. But overall, it was a good game from the Knicks, and the Knicks do look good as a team. Yes, OG definitely was hurt. Mitchell Robinson came back. It was a good game from the Knicks. They moved down to, I believe, the 4th seed. We're going to get into the standings later, though. The next thing I wanted to talk about was the two hottest teams in the NBA that will actually be playing tonight, the Houston Rockets and the Dallas Mavericks. And I'm not going to lie, y'all know I'm talking about the Mavericks first. You absolutely know I'm talking about the Mavericks first, because that's my team. Come on, they're in the section, so you know I got to talk about them first. We're going to get to the Rockets, though, and I'm going to do them their justice. But for the Mavs, they're 10-1 in their last 11 games. They've won 6 games in a row, and in that span, they've beaten the Nuggets and the Kings twice on their home floor, one being a blowout. I feel like that really does have to be looked at. The Kings getting beat twice on their home floor. First one was a blowout. And do you know how hard it is to beat the same team twice on their home floor? To walk into Sacramento and take 2 of them things. That's crazy. They also went in Utah, back-to-back games in Utah, and took both of them too. Obviously, Utah is not as good as Sacramento, but it's still hard to do that in the NBA regardless. And the fact that the Mavericks' last 4 games were 2 back-to-back series with the Kings and Jazz, and we took both of those. We on a 6-game winning streak. Also beat the Nuggets in this streak is absolutely something to be happy about. Most definitely, if you're a Maverick fan. These are not easy teams to beat, the Nuggets and Kings, especially the Nuggets. We beat them by 2 points. It was like 105-107. It was a very close game. But I'm just saying, after the trade deadline, and you're seeing the Mavericks get their stride, they look like one of the best teams in the NBA in this stretch right now. Statistically, they are one of the best teams in the NBA in the past 10 games. They are. So, I would like to see them take this into the playoffs. If they can play at this super high level in the playoffs, I promise you they can beat anybody. Right now they're challenging for the 4th or 5th seed, and I'm also interested in them attaining the 4th or 5th seed, because I do want to see if Luka gets a 4th seed, he could possibly win MVP. The Mavericks right now, they are 44-29, and there's 9 games left in the season. There's a decent chance that they could be like a 58, 59, 60 win team. There's a chance. The Mavericks schedule is super easy. We play the Rockets today, and I don't think we have another hard team for the rest of the season. I'm not gonna lie to you. So with that being the case, super easy schedule. I mean, it's very, very possible that the Mavericks could sneak in and get a 60-win season out of this. 60? I'm bugging. 50-win season. 50-win season. Not 60-win season. That's me. I jumped the gun. That's me. 50-win season out of this. That's most definitely possible. So I feel like if the Mavericks get 50 wins, they end up being the 4th seed. Luka just had the season he had. You kind of got to give him the MVP at that point. I'm just saying. I don't think Jokic had a better season than Luka individually this season. And if he gets the 1st seed, I can understand that. And you want to give it to the best player on the best team. You want to give it to Jason Tatum because I don't think Jason Tatum's even going to win it. I don't think he's not top 3 right now. The top 3 is Jokic 1, Luka 2, Shea 3. I'm just saying, if they get a good seed, Luka got a great chance. I wasn't even supposed to talk about the MVP picture right now, but that's where we ended up. That's where we ended up. Luka's averaging 34, 9, and 10 pretty much. So I'm just saying, if they end up getting the 4th seed, I feel like the award should be his. I feel like even the 5th seed, it should be considered. I think my heart's going to get broken once the straw polls come out for who got voted for what, but I'm just saying, Luka should have a decent chance if the seeding gets up to that point. Kyrie is averaging 25, 5, and 5 on 49, 41, 90 splits. He's almost averaging 50, 40, 90 this season on 25, 5, and 5. Kyrie Irving, absolutely, I feel like is the best second option in the NBA. You can argue me Jaylen Brown. I think I'm still pick Kyrie. Like, the skill is just outmatched, and that efficiency is crazy. My only critique of Kyrie really is stay on the court. Stay on the court. He be hurt a lot. Even this season, we miss Kyrie a lot. That's not really, I want to say, like some players like Anthony Davis just has this reputation of getting hurt, and now he's not getting hurt. Kyrie legitimately gets hurt every season, and that's my real critique from Kyrie. His hands are great on defense, and when he's locked in, when the whole team is locked in, we look awesome on defense. Kyrie makes defensive plays every single game. His hands are mad quick. He just swipes at the ball, get a steal randomly. Somebody's going up. It's just randomly. Kyrie makes plays consistently on defense. I'm not saying he's a lockdown defender or anything, but he gives his effort on offense. There's nothing that needs to be said about Kyrie. He's just that guy. This offensive duo, and if the role players fill in, if D-Live play how he's supposed to, if Gafford play how he's supposed to, if PJ Washington could turn it up, if Tim Hardaway Jr. could stop chucking up everything in sight, we have a good shot at beating any team, in my opinion. Let's get on to the Houston Rockets, who are 11-0 in their last 11. Jalen Green in that span is averaging 30 points, 4 assists, and 7 rebounds. Listen, that's some crazy stuff, man. I'm not gonna get into why I think he's playing like that, because there's a lot of extracurricular activity going on in Jalen Green life right now. There's a lot of baby mama drama in Jalen Green life right now. I'm not gonna lie, he need that bag. He need that bag. He need to play like this. That max contract needs to fly his way, 100%. But I'm just saying, he's hooping, bro. I hope he can turn this into some sustained success instead of having like a Linsanity run. I hate when players like this that we expect to do really, really good just have this great run of games and then kind of fall off. I want Jalen Green to stick there. I want Jalen Green to maybe not 34-7, but give me 25 on some decent efficiency, and the 4-7 should stay. Word. The 4-7, the 25, 4-7. I want to see that from Jalen Green. I think that would be very, very good numbers, a big step up. I want to see that from him from a whole season. Absolutely. On some decent efficiency. I want Jalen Green to take a nice jump. I feel like he's been the same player for the past 3 years, and this span of games is showing me something. And one thing that I find very interesting is that they're doing this all without Sengun. Sengun's got hurt, and they went on a run. So what does that mean? What does that mean? I hope when Sengun comes back, they can work off of each other and maybe really start to build some continuity, because I feel like we've seen this happen, like with the Phoenix Suns in the bubble. You remember in the bubble when they went undefeated and they still ain't made the playoffs? Let's hope. I mean, I don't know if I want Houston to make the playoffs over Golden State. I don't know if I want Houston to make the playoffs over Golden State. I'm impartial though. I don't care. Either way, I don't care. It's gonna be interesting regardless. But yeah, they're 11-0 in their last 11. They're challenging for the play-in spot. The Warriors, let me not say the Warriors. Draymond Green said, we're not worried about the Rockets. In my opinion, you should be extremely worried about the Rockets. Why wouldn't you be worried about the Rockets right now? Are you insane? What are you talking about? I'm not worried about the Rockets. They're literally gating on you. And y'all are not like, it's not like this is a team that's a guaranteed win even over bad teams. The Warriors could lose any night. They're over 500, but they're not a great team this season. They're not. So for you to be like, we're not worried about them is very disingenuous. I'm not gonna lie, Draymond. And then bro got ejected like a day later. So there's that. During the span, the Rockets beat the Kings, the Cavs, and the Thunder. It's three really, really good teams. The Thunder, I think, are favorites, challenging for a final spot, possibly a championship. The Kings, like I said, they're the 8th seed right now. Still a very good team in the NBA, though. Don't get it wrong. Then we got the Cavs, who are the 3rd seed in the East right now, right? So those are 3 quality teams right there that they beat on this run. They're beating the teams that are all beneath them. They're showing some grit. They want to make the play-in tournament. And I feel like I was against the play-in tournament when it was first being conceptualized, first being put into action. But now that it's here, and I'm really seeing the impact and how it's making teams play towards the end of the season when they're really trying to get into those playoff spots. Like watching how the Warriors are really trying to play now. Like Steph is really giving it his all right now. And Houston, obviously Jalen Green giving it his all right now. They're really trying to get into the play-in right now. And I do appreciate the effort. And the Mavericks are trying their ass off to get out of the play-in. I just really like the results. I like how it's making the teams play towards the end of the season, really fighting for these spots and not just coasting and making it into the playoffs or not making it into playoffs wherever you stand in. So I like that little gray area that the play-in tournament gives some teams. Next up, I just wanted to talk about the playoff picture really and what things are looking like. Let's start on the Western Conference because the Western Conference is very, very interesting. So we're just going to get into the Western Conference, and I'm going to just start from Houston because everybody else beneath them is eliminated. San Antonio, Portland, Memphis, Utah, all eliminated. And you know what's funny? I feel like if Ja Morant did not get hurt, I feel like Memphis would be challenging for this spot too. Not for nothing. They're not that far back. They're 24-50. If Ja Morant played half the season, I think they'd have a real decent shot at one of these spots, in my opinion. That's just me though. We got Houston, who's 38-35, gating on the Warriors, who are 39-34. I need Draymond to really tee up, cause what are you talking about? You're not worried about the Rockets? Are you crazy? Are you nuts? They're right there. They're a game back. If y'all lose and they win, it's over. However, the Rockets and the Mavericks play tonight. They play tonight. So one of those teams who are going on a crazy stretch, their win streak stops tonight. You already know who I'm rooting for. I don't even got to say too much. I really don't got to say too much. I'm rooting for Dallas, and that 11-game win streak is getting snapped tonight, bro. The better team is going to win. Word. That's all I got to say about that. But yeah, I don't think that they're going to overlap them just yet. But like I said, there's 9 games left in the season. If the Warriors end up not winning in their game either, it could get real interesting. They play the Spurs tonight, and Wemby has been on a tear. Who knows? If he has another game like the Knicks game, the Warriors will be in danger. So let's just hope they don't play with their food and they beat a team they're supposed to beat, and they'll get a little bit of a cushion there. But as of right now, that's definitely a contested spot. Then we got the Lakers, who are a game and a half ahead of the Warriors. They're 41-33. The Kings, who have now dropped down to 8, 42-31. They're 9 games away from the first seed, 0.5 of a game ahead of LA. Then we got a team that I'm worried about. I'm worried about this team. Like, genuinely, I'm worried about if they're even going to make the playoffs because of how hard their schedule is to end the season. Like, it's bad. It's really bad. The Phoenix Suns schedule to end the season is a slaughterhouse. And I tweeted this out too, because I was like, this is they're really getting thrown into the fire here at the end of the season. So they played Denver. Here, heads up, they lost that game. That happened already. Then we have OKC, I believe they lost that already too, and that happened. Let's see. OKC versus Phoenix. Yep, they got blown out. 25-point blowout. What happened? Okay. As long as it's still recording. They got blown out by OKC, a 25-point blowout. Then we got New Orleans, April 1st. Cleveland, April 3rd. Minnesota, April 5th. New Orleans again, April 7th. A back-to-back against the Clippers, the 9th and 10th. The Kings on the 12th, and then Minnesota again on the 14th. All of those teams are playoff teams. They don't get one night off. Not one. They have 10 straight playoff contending teams. Those are all good teams. The Kings maybe not so much contending, but like, you know what I'm saying? They're still good teams. Those are all good teams that you got to beat out. They don't get one break. Not one break. And they already lost to the Nuggets. They already lost to the Thunder, got blown out. It's not looking too hot for them. It's not. It's really not. They were like, what, the 4th or 5th seed not too long ago. And now they dropped all the way down, right? And they're in the play-on. They're in the play-in. They're in the top of the play-in. They're currently, what, the 7th seed? So they're not too... They have a little cushion that they could play with. But they got to win some of these games. They got to put it together and win some of these games so they can make the playoffs. That would be tragic if KD and D-Book did not make the playoffs. And listen, I don't like the Suns. I'm really the number one Suns hater. There's no shot they don't make the playoffs. That would really be tragic. It would be. There's no other way to put that. That would absolutely be tragic if they did not make the playoffs. After that, we got Dallas. I'm so impressed with their run. They've moved up to the 6th seed. They're out of the play-in for now. 0.5 games ahead of Phoenix. So they kind of got to keep winning. If they were to lose tonight, they would be back in the play-in. And that's how close the standings are. We got New Orleans, who really are looking to be one of the better teams in the Western Conference right now. They're 6-4 in their last 10. They've kept a steady pace of wins, 45-29. Once again, only 0.5 of a game ahead of Dallas. That's how close the standings are once again. And then we got LA, 46-27, a game and a half ahead of New Orleans. Denver, who's the 3rd seed, but they're 51-23. And then the 1st and 2nd seeds are both 51-22. We don't even know who's going to get the 1st seed at this point, because all those teams got the same record. I think the Western Conference is going to be a slaughterhouse this year. The playoffs is going to be so fun. I feel like no matter what teams make it out of the play-in, and no matter what the seeding is within the 1 through 8, it's going to be a banger. It is absolutely going to be a banger. I don't see how it can't be. I really don't see how it can't be. We got Minnesota, OKC, Denver, LA, New Orleans, Dallas, Phoenix, Sacramento, LA, again, Golden State, and Houston. Which one of those teams isn't entertaining? Which one of those teams isn't going to give you some grit? Which one of those teams is not going to at least put up some kind of fight? I feel like this is the most parity the NBA has ever seen. There's no shot that I obviously there's some teams I understand are better than others. I don't think the gap is that far in between any of these rosters. I really don't. And I'm not saying anybody can go out and win a championship this year, but you know what I'm saying? If you go on a little run, this would be the year we see a Cinderella run, in my opinion, because there's a lot of parity. There's a lot of skilled teams. There's a lot of skilled players, and they're all scattered around in the seedings, and they're this far apart. So listen, I'm just saying, look out for the Western Conference, man. I think the Western Conference playoffs is going to be insane this year. And then we're going to start off with the East. We got the Brooklyn Nets, who I don't think are going to make the plan. They're 29-45. They're 5 games back. I think it's cooked for the Nets. I think they should blow that out. I don't know why they want to build around Mikal Bridges. I like Mikal Bridges. I don't think he's a number 1 guy. And they actually got an offer for like Mikal Bridges for Jalen Green in the 1st, and they declined it. I don't know why they did that. At least giving you Jalen Green gives you some direction. If you don't know, Mikal Bridges is like 27. That's why I'm saying all this. It's not like you have all this time to make Mikal Bridges into a star. I think Mikal Bridges is really, really good. And I think if you put him on a team where he can be like a second, third best player, that they could do some damage. I don't think as a number one guy, he's that guy. I don't. I would love him on the Knicks. I absolutely would love him on the Knicks. I think that would be crazy. Getting the Nova boys back together on the Knicks. Have like JB, Mikal Bridges, Julius Randle, maybe, you know what I'm saying? Mix something around with that. I think that would be cool, but I don't like where the Brooklyn Nets are going. I think they have a very loose direction. Mikal Bridges, Cam Thomas, Nick Claxton, who don't want to be there. Cam Thomas is disgruntled every now and then because y'all don't be playing him correctly. Like, why does he fall out of the rotation? I feel like, given that your team sucks, a guy like Cam Thomas, who's just going to go out there and hoop and get you buckets, and people like... And, bro, he averages like 20-something when he starts. Like, why are you taking his minutes away? That doesn't make any sense. But next team, we can talk about Atlanta, who's 34-40. They're 10th. They're going to make the play-in. And I think that's very dangerous for some of the other playing teams. Atlanta's bad this season. But, first of all, they just showed you that they could put some wins together. They just beat the Boston Celtics back-to-back. And that's nobody can say they've done that this season. I don't even think any team can say that they've beaten them twice this season. Maybe a Western Conference team, because they're not that good against the West, apparently. But, yeah, they beat them back-to-back with no Trae Young. So, I don't know what that means for... I think this is very good for the Hawks, actually. This boosts DeJounte Murray's stock a lot. Even though they won on a game where he shot 44 for... He had 44 points on 44 shots. That's nasty work. That's disgusting basketball. You did not play well. You really didn't. But the fact that you beat the Celtics twice, you led your team to victories against the Celtics twice, does boost your stock. It absolutely does, especially towards the end of the season. I feel like that's going to be like two of the more memorable victories for you this year. And without Trae Young, that looked real nice. So you can now trade Trae Young and trade DeJounte Murray, get big packages for both, and reset again, because this is not working. I don't think you should waste your time and try to build around Trae Young anymore. I don't think you have the assets to really build anything around it. I think Trae Young going elsewhere would work better for the Hawks and him. Am I saying this because I want to see Trae Young and Victor Wembanyama on the same team? Maybe. But yeah, they're the 10th seed. I think they could possibly make it into the playoffs. Their record does not equate to that, but I think they could beat the Bulls, and the Sixers with no Embiid is whack. We're going to get there. The Bulls, they're 35-39. They suck. I don't have too much to say about the Bulls. Kobe White was a decent step up this year. I mess with Kobe White. That's really Alex Caruso was hooping. That's all I got for the Bulls in terms of positives. Y'all got to figure something out. Philly. I feel bad for Philly because y'all were like, what, 2-3 seed the whole year, and then Embiid gets hurt, and y'all have the foundation of a really, really good team, but if Embiid cannot stay on the floor, it will never come to fruition. So there are rumors of Embiid coming back this season, and I think that is the worst situation possible. If Joel Embiid comes back this season, I think there's a high risk he gets hurt again. He tore his meniscus. Yeah, you have to get surgery for that, or you have to rehab it for a very, very long time for it to heal itself. The way they described it was that he tore a flap off of his meniscus, which makes no sense. If his meniscus is torn, it's just torn. So he tore his meniscus. He's going through the rehab. He looks pretty decent. They got him on workout videos, whatever. But as a big man especially, if that tears again and you have to get that surgery, your career might not ever be the same. And I know we've had a lot of technology advancements, but there's only so much you can do to really regenerate the human body. As a 7-footer who weighs as much as Embiid does, if you got to get that meniscus surgery, you're cooked. I don't think you should be playing this season. I think you should just wait until next year. I don't think you should try to play in the Olympics, especially because that's just a whole other beast. Like, you're bugging out, bro. You just had this big knee injury, and you trying to play in the playoffs. You trying to run into the playoffs head first. You're trying to play in the Olympics after the playoffs. You're bugging. That's just me being scared for Embiid's longevity, because I don't think that this is an ideal situation for him at all. I think he should absolutely sit his ass down, wait a little bit, heal up a little bit more, rehab a little bit more, get those tendons a little stronger, because I don't see any benefit in him rushing back into this. I don't think they're going to win this year anyway, especially if you got to hop right back into a series with the Celtics in the first or second round. You're not winning that. I don't think you should hop right back into this. I don't see a good outcome coming out of this. If he comes back and they get a chip, I'll shut up. But I don't think that's a great idea. Miami is interesting because they traded for Terry Rozier. They're still trying to gel. I think they could do a lot of damage as well. That's a team in the play-in where I feel like they fit a lot of categories of those Western play-in teams where I said that the Hawks could do some damage. The Hawks could get into the playoffs. They're not going to do any damage for real. The Heat could do some damage for real. The Heat could beat anybody in the East. Obviously, the Celtics are favored to beat anyone, but if there's going to be a team to beat, I think that he could do it. Jimmy Butler has shown that he could do it before. Bam has shown that he could do it before. Terry Rozier is an upgrade at point guard. Duncan Robinson is playing better this year. Tyler Hero isn't hurt this year. They got Jaime Jaquez Jr., Caleb Martin. I'm just saying, they got a decent shot. They have a decent shot. I like Miami's chances to do something this year, especially since they came out the play-in and went to the finals last year. They got the recipe, bro. They got the recipe. Let's coast through the season, make it out the play-in, go in, do our thing, you know what I'm saying? Let's see what they do. Then we got Indiana. Indiana was really good in the first half of the season, like around the play-in tournament time, and they really started to get disappointing after that. I'm not sure if Reese's drop-off has more to do with that injury that he suffered. I remember him and Ja got injured within like the same week. So that could have something to do with why they're not playing as well. But there definitely was a drop-off. Pascal Siakam came. They're not amazing with him. They're cool. They're all right. They're probably going to be better going into next season, especially if it is injury induced for why Reese isn't averaging the same 25 and 10 that he was earlier in the year. He can get some time to rest. They'll come back with more chemistry next year. I'm excited for what that roster could look like, but this year I'm kind of disappointed with where they ended up. Orlando is interesting, 43-31. I did not expect Orlando to be anywhere near this good. I didn't. I don't know where they came from. I think with more guard play, this would be good. This is another team where I think if Trae Young came here, they would be awesome because they need offense really, really bad. And they have a bunch of great defenders. They have a bunch of glue guys, a bunch of enforcers. Paolo is really, really good. I think if Trae and Paolo was a duo, that would be really good as well. I wouldn't be mad at that. And they could get a lot back from that team as well. So, shoot. We got Cleveland at the 3 seed. Whoa. I skipped New York. New York at the 4 seed. I hope they get healthy in time. That's all I'm going to say about New York because, yeah, if they could get healthy in time, if OG comes back and Julius comes back and they can really start to play with their full squad, New York is going to be dangerous. And that's not a team that you want to really like sit down on because they got a lot of motor. This New York team got a lot of motor, especially now with Josh Hart. You got JB, you got DiVincenzo. OG got a lot of motor. Mitchell Robinson got a lot of motor. Hartenstein got a lot of motor. And I really do hope that rubs off on Julius Randle because he does not. If Julius Randle can get even a pinch of that from his teammates, they will be in for some shit, whoever plays them. That goes for the Celtics as well. I think everybody should be on their toes about the Knicks, to be honest. That's a real nice, gritty team. I'm not sure if they go all the way. They're not my favorites, but they're a good team. I feel Cleveland is almost in that boat, but not yet. I feel like Donovan Mitchell is better than Jalen Brunson, but I'm not sure why Cleveland just doesn't do it for me. I don't like the duo of Mitchell Garland, if I'm being honest, and it's making me rethink if I'd want Mitchell to go to New York because Mitchell Garland and Mitchell Brunson, is that going to be too much different or is that going to be more of the same? I'm not a big fan of Garland Mitchell, to be honest. And then I'm not a huge fan of Allen Mobley either in your front court. They're not the strongest two, which they got exposed for that last year. They're the 3 seed right now, though, so they're good. Let's see how far they go. I'm not fully convinced that they're going to be like a contending type team, but I mean, anything can happen. Anything can happen. As for the 2 seed, we got the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't know about the Bucks either, man. I really don't. I don't know about the Bucks. I do not know about the Bucks. They're like really good on offense and really shit on defense. They haven't been that good with Doc Rivers as their coach. I'm not sure why they fired Adrian Griffin in the first place. I feel like as a head coach, you should give me the liberty, especially if we're winning, to finish the season. Fire me in the offseason if you want to, but this is my first year and we're dumb nice. And I understand that we have our discrepancies, we have our things that we need to work on, but you just got Dame. We didn't even get a chance to build this roster yet. You asking me to put defensive schemes in with non-defensive players. We got Malik Beasley and Dame in our backcourt, and you pressing me for defensive plays. Bro, help me. And you gonna get Doc Rivers in there, and Doc Rivers is literally doing worse. They're not winning as many games with Doc Rivers, literally. And their defense sucks. So it's like, I don't know if they can really get it done this year. They'd have to really turn it up on defense. That's a serious critique. That's not something that you can go into the playoffs and maybe possibly you can. No. You have to play defense. You absolutely have to get better at defense. There's no way you can walk in it. Every guard can walk in there and think this is Swiss cheese. There's no shot you can do that. You're not even beating the Heat. If you walk, you're not beating the Knicks if you walk in and do that. I guarantee it. And Celtics are the favorites. I'm not talking about the Celtics. I'm not. If y'all don't win the championship, y'all suck. I have nothing else to say about the Celtics. If y'all don't win the championship, y'all suck. And I've been saying that from the beginning of the year because y'all didn't do it last year, and this year you got better. If y'all don't win the championship, y'all suck. That's the end of the pod. I'm literally not talking about I'm literally not talking about the Celtics. If y'all don't win the chip, y'all suck. I'm gonna catch you on the next one. Hopefully the next one is soon. I say this every time.